As we enter into the era of foldable phones, Google has just planted its flag into the landscape with the Google Pixel Fold. The Pixel Fold is Google's take on an innovative device that marries the functionalities of a smartphone and a tablet into one piece of tech. When I first got my hands on it at Google I/O, I described my initial impressions of it as an excellent handset that feels at home as a smartphone or a compact tablet. But again, those were my initial impressions. Now that I spent a couple of weeks with the Pixel Fold, it's time to talk about if this is the foldable for you. There's definitely a lot to like here, but also some compromises you need to know about before you buy. And by the way, if you want to buy, I'll have a link in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. Now, let's start with one of my favorite aspects of the Pixel Fold, and that is this design. The Pixel Fold introduces an impressive hybrid design that combines the functionality of a smartphone and a tablet. That's what you'd expect from any foldable with this form factor. The phone unfolds from a compact 5.8-inch smartphone into a larger 7.6-inch mini tablet. The integrated hinge is designed meticulously, enabling a seamless transition between the two forms. The folded form offers the portability of a conventional smartphone, just a little thicker, but with a shorter and wider form factor when compared to something like the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. And I actually like Google's approach to the outer display a lot better. Meanwhile, the unfolded form provides ample real estate, which is great for things like multitasking, video watching, and gaming. One of the distinguishing design aspects of the Pixel Fold is this larger bezel surrounding the inner display. Although some users might initially find the bezel to be an annoying eyesore, it quickly fades into the background. The reason it's there is because Google put a lot of the mechanics of the hinge at the very top and bottom, which is why the Fold is so thin when it's closed. When this device is folded, the two halves meet with barely any visible space between them. Now that's the trade-off of the thicker bezel, but I don't mind it at all. The hinge's crease, a common concern with foldable devices, does feel pretty noticeable. And I equate that to the fact that the Pixel Fold doesn't really open all the way flat. It's about 2 or 3 degrees shy of 180. Now, on the topic of displays, the Google Pixel Fold features a pair of high-resolution displays that excel in multitasking. As I mentioned, when folded, it functions as a smartphone with a 5.8-inch screen. And also, as I mentioned, I love using that shorter but wider outer display a lot more than using the tall and thin outer display on something like a Galaxy Fold. It just feels a lot more usable and natural to me using Google's approach. Of course, when unfolded, it transforms into a mini tablet, offering a larger 7.6-inch display area. Both displays offer variable refresh rates up to 120 Hz, delivering a smooth and fluid viewing experience when browsing the web, playing games, and watching videos. Another bonus of Google's displays is that they're brighter when compared to the Galaxy Z Fold 4 by about 100 to 200 nits, depending on which display you're comparing. This adds to the overall feel of this being a premium device. Of course, with a tablet in your pocket, you're also getting a multitasking device, which is particularly useful. The large screen area makes it easier to use multiple apps simultaneously or to consume media content in a more immersive way, at least when the apps are optimized for the larger screen. I do like being able to have 2 apps open in smartphone aspect ratio side by side like this, and I think this makes much more sense to most people, even if it's more restrictive than Samsung letting you have multiple apps open when you're using the larger display on its foldables. Now, when it comes to performance, at the heart of the Google Pixel Fold is the Tensor G2 chip. I'm not sure how I feel about a brand new luxury device shipping with a 9-month-old chip that many have experienced to be power hungry, when Samsung has competing foldables on a newer chip dropping in about a month or so, but more on that later. The Pixel Fold handles tasks ranging from basic web browsing to running productivity apps and high-intensity gaming very smoothly. Preloaded with Android 13 and all the Pixel software goodness, it offers a familiar experience to anyone who's ever used a Pixel. All Google apps optimized for the new platform work flawlessly on the smaller and larger screens, but one in particular that didn't, that was disappointing to me, being that it's a first-party Google app, is the YouTube Studio app. I know that's pretty niche, only YouTube content creators use that app, but seeing an app from Google still relegated to having large black bars on either side of it was kind of disappointing. Now that's Google's first party. And while I don't like that many third-party apps aren't going to be optimized for this form factor, I do understand it. You can't, as a company, dedicate resources to update your apps for a device that a small fraction of your users are going to buy. And that's the problem that foldables are going to have until they really take off and see much wider adoption than we're currently seeing now. Next, one of the biggest talking points when talking about Pixel devices is the camera. But here I find that it just isn't a major part of the story. The camera system on the Pixel Fold is great, don't get me wrong. But if you've used a Pixel 7 Pro, those cameras are just better. That said, Google's best-in-class computational photography techniques paired with the Fold's camera hardware does result in very good, high-quality images in lots of scenarios. Landscapes, portraits, and even challenging lighting conditions like astrophotography. The 5x optical zoom on the Pixel Fold, though not as extensive as some other flagship smartphones, does beat out its closest foldable competitor here in the US, the Galaxy Z Fold 4. But again, the Z Fold 5 is literally right around the corner. To be clear, this is a Pixel camera through and through, and that's a good thing. The camera system on the Pixel Folds contributes significantly to the overall value of this device. It not only allows users to capture high quality photos, but also enhances the ability and convenience of the device, making it a compelling choice for users who value mobile photography. I just wish that with a luxury top-of-the-line foldable, that Google could have matched the quality of its non-foldable smartphone. You're paying more than twice as much for this device, and the cameras just don't match up to the Google device that costs twice as less. Now let's talk battery life. One of the main concerns for any device. The Google Pixel Fold houses a large 4,821 milliamp hour battery, which is split into two cells, one in each half of the foldable phone. This is currently the largest battery in a mainstream foldable smartphone, even larger than the 4,400 milliamp hour battery found in the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. However, as I've said many times in iPhone versus Galaxy videos, a larger physical battery doesn't always translate to longer usage hours. And to me, that's the number that really matters. The effective battery life of a device is influenced by various factors, including the processor's efficiency, display type, network settings, and individual usage patterns. For the Pixel Fold, Google promises a battery life that lasts beyond 24 hours. That's a quote. I honestly don't know how they got there, because for me, if I am actively using the Pixel Fold, after about 11 hours, I'm getting anxiety and know I'll need to charge soon. If I charge it and leave it on my desk and don't use it, other than keeping the always-on display powered on, then it absolutely goes beyond 24 hours. But people don't use their phone by not using it. After 2 weeks, I can confidently say that for moderate usage, buyers can expect the Pixel Fold to last about a day. To extend the battery life, Google has included an extreme battery saver mode, which can extend the life up to 72 hours by limiting app activity, pausing notifications, and switching from 5G to LTE connectivity. Also, the more you use the outer display and the less you use the inner display, the more battery life you'll get. But that kind of defeats the purpose of paying for a foldable in the first place. Though it arrived a bit late to the foldable phone scene, I think the Pixel Fold has proven to be worth the wait if you're a Pixel fan. The device's well thought out design includes a precision hinge, high resolution screens, and a very decent battery, all of which contribute to its overall appeal. Despite its large bezel around the main screen and the unavoidable crease down the middle, the Pixel Fold offers a seamless user experience with a responsive, colorful, and multitasking friendly display. For those looking to invest in a foldable phone, the Pixel Fold is a worthy contender to consider. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andru, and I will catch you in the next video.